Hello, this is Professor Todd with a short video to discuss the MLA formatting of both your annotated bibliography as a whole and also the individual citations contained within it. In this video, we are going to look at the sample annotated bibliography that is available on our course Canvas page. The first thing I'd like to point out about the formatting of the bibliography is in the top left corner, you will see the student's identifying information. This is where you will put your name, date, class, professor, and assignment. On the next line, you will include the assignment title. For the annotated bibliography, this should be your central research question that you proposed in your research proposal. That's the question that these sources are trying to help you find the answer to, and that answer will be the thesis of your persuasive essay, which is the next formal assignment that we will be working on. The annotated bibliography should be double-spaced throughout the entire document, so you will notice that all citations and annotations are double-spaced throughout. You'll notice that there are no extra spaces in between the end of one citation and the beginning of the next, nor are there extra spaces between the end of the citation and the beginning of the annotation. So just double-spaced throughout with no additional spaces in between any of these citations and annotations. If you're finding that your document adds spaces, you can change this setting by clicking on the line spacing options and making sure that you click this "Don't add space between paragraphs of the same style." That will remove any extra spaces that exist. The next important aspect of your annotated bibliography formatting is what we call the hanging indent. This means that unlike a typical paragraph, which you'll see an example of right here with the annotation, where we indent the first line of the paragraph, with annotations, we do the opposite. We don't indent the first line, but we do indent all subsequent lines of the citation. So the reason for this is so that as I, your reader, am scrolling through the citation, I can easily see where one ends and one begins, because the only thing on this left-hand alignment over here is the author's last name. So the beginning of each citation is very clear as I scroll through the annotated bibliography. Then, once you have created your hanging indent, you will align the annotation paragraph with the hanging indent. So the left-hand side of your paragraph should align with the tabbed portion of the hanging indent. Then, just as you always would with your citation, your annotation paragraph, you'll indent the first line, just like any normal paragraph. So this is what the alignment should look like. Double space throughout, no extra spaces, hanging indent, and the annotation paragraph aligned with the hanging indent, indenting again the first line of that paragraph. Now let's look at the actual formatting for your citations. Citations should be listed alphabetically by author's last name. So here we have author Ken Adams. Then you will include the title of the citation. Then you will include the publication. This might be an academic journal, as is the case in this citation, or it could be a website. If you got your article from, say CNN or NBC News, you would provide the website title here. Then you provide any necessary publication information. So this might be volume, issue number if it's a journal, the date, whether it's a journal or an online source, page range if one exists. When you are doing a journal, you will then need to also include the database that you used, the library's database that you used in order to access that journal. And then here's the difference between journals and websites. For a journal, you include the DOI, that's an identifying number for journal articles. When it's a website, you'll include a URL. Then you will notice on the MLA formatting style guides, there is an access date. These in the past have been optional. I'm not really particular about whether or not you include the date that you access them. If you do, those access dates are included at the end of the citation. If you decide to include them, you need to include them for all of your sources. And if you decide not to include them, don't include them on any of your sources. I'm not really picky about whether or not you include access dates, but I would like you to be consistent throughout. So here's another example down here of what a website might look like. So here's an author, a title, the website, Reuters, where the article was accessed, the date that it was published, and then the URL. So that's what a typical article on a website would look like. This is what a typical journal article citation would look like. I have created another video about using Purdue's OWL, their online writing lab, using the MLA style guide in order to create your citations. So be sure to watch that video if you need additional help for citation creation. You may also have a few types of sources that are maybe non-standard sources. For example, a survey that's completed. Those sources can also be found on OWL Purdue's URL, but if you're ever in doubt, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope this video was helpful, and please follow up by watching the video on the annotations for your annotated bibliography. Take care.